Hi guys, Happy New Year. Great to be back. Today's video is all about the Epiphany. So we are 12 days after Christmas. I hope you had a joy-filled Christmas. I hope it was full of lots of wonderful memories, seeing people doing lots of good things, and hopefully taking some time to pray and reflect on the great gift that is Jesus' presence in our world. Today is the feast of the Epiphany, the 6th of January, and it's a really big feast across the world, and it's a huge day in the church this year. For some places, including Spain, the Epiphany is the date when people get their gifts, not on Christmas Day. And that's because the Epiphany is the day when we remember the three wise men visiting Jesus and presenting him with their gifts. And the Epiphany is, as we said, the day when we remember the wise men visiting Jesus. Now, we've always said that there were three wise men, but it doesn't actually say anywhere in the Gospels that there were three of them. The Gospel of St. Matthew talks about wise men travelling from the east who were following a star. And the star is something really significant because it's something that was prophesied in the Old Testament. So there's a link back there to what was foretold and what has been made real in Jesus' coming into the world. And these wise men travelled from the east searching for this newborn king. And they first went to Herod, who was ruler of the land at the time, and Herod was really annoyed that there was a newborn king. And he was really jealous and really worried about this threat to his power. So much so that the Gospel tells us that at a later date, Herod had all of the newborn babies killed to try to prevent anyone unseating him. But these wise men from the east eventually found Jesus. It's probable that this happened sometime after his birth because it talks about being welcomed into the home rather than into like the stable where Jesus was born. So the wise men went into the home of Mary and Joseph and they worshipped Jesus. They presented him with gifts. And they presented him with three gifts, and that's why we've always assumed that there was three of them, because we assumed that each person would have bought one gift each. And those three gifts were gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Probably not what you got for Christmas. Maybe you might have got some money, but frankincense and myrrh aren't what we would normally call traditional gifts now. But they were of deep significance to Jesus and to the people of that time. The gold represents that Jesus is king. The frankincense is used in the worship of God. We still use incense in churches today. So the incense, the frankincense, reminds or foretold that Jesus was God made man. And myrrh is a bit of an unusual gift because myrrh is an oil that is used in anointing those who have died. So the myrrh was representative of the fact that Jesus was going to die. It sort of foretold his suffering and his death. So Jesus' three gifts symbolized him as king, as God, and as someone who would die for us. But St. Gregory the Great, he reflected on these gifts a little bit, and he spoke about how these gifts relate to us. And I think as we start this year, having something to focus us is really, really good. Lots of people will have made New Year's resolutions at the start of the year. Lots of people will have completely failed them already. So, three gifts, three things for you to reflect on, and hopefully three things to make a part of your life over the coming weeks and months. So the gold symbolizes the wisdom of God shining in us and out of us. So, how do we know God? How do we understand our relationship with him, and how do we build that relationship? The gold represents that. The frankincense, as we said, represents the worship. But for us, let's think about prayer. Let's think about how the frankincense symbolizes prayer for us. What are your prayers going into this year? Who needs your prayers? Who is in need of some extra support from you and some guidance from God? What are your prayer focuses for this year? And myrrh, as we said, symbolized Jesus' death, but for us it can symbolize the sacrifices that we need to make each day. Now that might be in serving others, supporting friends and family. It might be in giving up certain things or stopping doing certain things or taking on something extra to help make us a better person and to even further grow that relationship with God. So this year and this week, think about those three things. How does God's wisdom shine through you, and how do you increase your relationship with God? What do you need to pray for this year? And what sacrifices are you willing to make for other people and for yourself to help your relationship with God, but also to help build a better world? So give those three things a think, have a reflect on them, make them a part of your day, and I hope you have a great day. Just to say, before we go, the Epiphany, some people say you need to take down your Christmas decorations by the Epiphany. But in a medieval period, this wasn't the case, and the decorations would stay up much longer to continue that time of joy and celebration. So our crib will remain up until the 2nd of February, which is the Feast of Candlemas, as a reminder of the joy of Jesus' birth, and as hopefully a symbol of joy in a time that can be quite difficult for all. So keep an eye out for it. It's got the baby Jesus in it now, because he's been born. Have a great week. See you again soon. Goodbye.